Hey everybody, Ron Burke, Editor-in-Chief for Gamingtrend.com. Today we're going to check out the Wireless Go from Rode. Now if you find yourself saying, hey, what year is it? Isn't that a Wireless Go 2 in your hand? Then you're probably on the same page as everybody else. The reason we're checking this out is because this is a Generation 3. Are there enough features in the Gen 3 to justify jumping from a Gen 1 or even a Wireless Go 2 to this newest generation? Well, there's only one way to test it. Let's unbox this thing, see what's inside, and more importantly, compare it against the current flagship. While I finish the unboxing, I'm going to stick with the Wireless Go 2. Now, all of this goes into a device called an A10 Mini Pro ISO, and that device stitches all of my video and audio together. The reason I mention that is it has two microphone ports. So when we get to that point, you'll see me click on a second lavalier, and at that point, I'm going to make sure that there's always an on-screen prompt that tells you which device you're listening to. Just for fun, I'm also going to stick this device that you can't see that's off screen, which is a safety track that's from a competitor. Let's just say it costs about 4 times as much as this device. I'll let you tell me if I wasted my money. In addition, I'll also pull off this microphone here, this lavalier microphone. Obviously, will change the audio a bit, probably not a noticeable amount, because we're going to also test what this sounds like with the native capture that's right on the top of the device. So without further ado, let's unbox this. The first thing you might notice is that these new devices have a bit of a more rounded edge to them. This is simply a form factor update. It doesn't really change anything, but the lettering has gone to more of a flat matte versus this shiny, which is great by virtue of the fact that what you're trying to do is capture your subject's audio and video. You're not trying to catch this off of every light source. It's still very shiny. They have included something to clean it, but you're still stuck with kind of the Rode logo and that very shiny reflective surface. What I do find interesting though is they have taken a step towards embracing the streamer culture. These are now available in a number of colors. I'll go ahead and throw that on the screen so you can take a look for yourself. But if you're the kind of person that says, I want to have a specific color device, it takes but a second for you to select that and you can have a Rode device that's a number of different colors. Black goes with everything, so we stuck with black. The next thing you might notice is that the receivers now have that gold dot eliminated, and that gold Go 2 is eliminated as well. It simply says Rode, and no gold surface to reflect off of. It's very understated, I guess would be a way I'd put it. It's nice and unobstructed. It's not going to reflect off of anything else. The last thing you want to do is distract from whatever your content is, so Rode is certainly trying to do exactly that. If you're wondering what this device is, this is meant to replace the portable charging case. And I don't know that I agree with that. It's nice that it's included because it means I don't have to have 3 USB cords connected to it. I can simply connect all 3 devices to this like so. The USB-C, so it doesn't really matter what order, but let's at least get them in the same order. And with that, I can simply charge it off of 1 USB-C connector. I still would much prefer a hard case that I can put on there. Rode does sell a hard case, but I would have to say that it would be nice if they had included it. This is one of those things where if this got cracked, it would be a real eyesore on camera, so it just makes sense for me to protect my investment. And I guess that means that's going to be another investment of finances to make sure that these stay safe and I can also charge them on the go. Looking at the receiver here, there's another thing that you might not immediately notice. So when you look at the Wireless Go 2, you can see that it has this port here, and that is where I currently have my lavalier connected. But there seems to be kind of a raised portion here. Now, what is that? That right there is to save me a whole hell of a lot of headache. If you've ever accidentally pulled this cord just slightly, you lose audio. It doesn't take much for it to slightly come disconnected, and either you have a bunch of crackling or a full disconnect and you lose that audio. Many of you know you get one shot at some of these interview opportunities, so you got to make it count. You've got to get it the first time. Well, if you want to get it the first time, the best way to do that is with a locking mechanism. So this lavalier, let's see if I can show you here, has a little collar that locks down like that. And what that does on this is it'll lock in place and then I can screw it down. And by doing that, that's not going to go anywhere. So I don't have to worry about somebody accidentally snagging it if I have it running inside their clothes and it's inside of a jacket pocket and they accidentally pull the jacket pocket and disconnect it. That's not going to happen here. So it's a little bit of peace of mind. It's such a small thing, but it's such a huge difference. I can't believe that anybody ships these sorts of devices without them, but so far this is the only one with them. So
why are you the way that you are?
Kudos to Rode for that. That's just smart engineering. There are a number of other features here that might not be immediately obvious. Obviously, it comes with a nice short little USB-C cable. These are simply for charging and for synchronization. They actually have a Rode designated desiccant packet, which I think is entertaining. It does come with a wipe so you can clean off the, well, right there you can see you've got a little bit of dust on top of that. Obviously, you can use your shirt, but it's certainly more professional to use a wipe like that. You also have this connector, and this connector is going to be how you connect this to, well, that's how I'm going to connect it to my Mini Pro ISO because it uses this 3.5 millimeter jack. So that right there is a Rode official connector. You know that it's going to be high quality. It's going to have no interference. I have actually used non-Rode cables before, and I know this sounds like a Rode commercial, but wow, did I have some staticky, messy audio. And I ended up just chasing that for a long time before I finally figured out that it's the cable. It's not even the hardware. So do yourself a favor, stick with what they sent you. The last part here is this dead cat, windscreen, if you will. And these have a little tiny circle here, and you can see two little dots. What that is, you're gonna put that on there, and then they lock in place. So you line up the two dots, and they should, just like that, lock in place. And unlike a magnet, we're again talking about things that you want to limit the amount of chances for something to go wrong. A magnet can be brushed off. This locks in place. It has a little detent and just pops in. That's not coming off. So there's no chance of your subject accidentally, if they're, especially one of those people who likes to whip their hands around, they're not going to accidentally knock this off and muffle your audio, or worse, now you've got the wind or cross breeze or anything else. So I much prefer this than a magnetic lock. It sounds more convenient, and it probably is, but when you're talking about making sure that you have no chance of failure, something like that with a mechanical lock is the way to go. So that's everything unboxed. What I'm going to do now is get this all connected to this little thing here. And we're going to charge this. And then I'll come back and we'll start doing some comparisons. Before I run off to charge everything, there's one last thing that I missed, and I just caught it while I was about to set things up for charging. This is a USB to USB connector, USB-C to USB-C. This is not. So this is USB-C to Thunderbolt. There is another way that you can connect this, and I hadn't even thought of it until just now. Obviously, these don't come with headphone jacks anymore, so you're obviously not going to use something like this 3.5 millimeter. You're going to use a USB-C, or you're going to use Thunderbolt. So that's going to be how you're going to connect a receiver to something like a phone that has that sort of jack. You simply plug it in, off you go. If they're anything like my Wireless Go 2, I can tell you that that really is as fast as it is. You plug it in, it identifies it as an audio source, and you're done. There's nothing else to do. Now that said, there are a couple of new features that you're probably going to want to enable, and for that you're going to want to connect it to a PC. That's where the device connects to their software called Rode Central. I knew it was in my head somewhere. And that's where we're going to see a number of features that we can enable that will take this from good to great. One thing I am going to point out about the Wireless Go 3rd Gen is that I had to kind of adapt it. I do wish this was metal. This plastic clip does not have a metal piece, so I had to grab a piece of metal from another microphone that I use, and I basically tucked it underneath, which allowed me to make it magnetic. And you can see I just accidentally dropped it off of this little thing that I have around my neck to make this where it doesn't rubberneck and, bacon neck my shirts. So I have adapted this to work in that way. So if there is a Gen 4 coming soon, make this metal or put a metal plate in there. That would make this incredibly easy for me to use, and I'm sure a lot of other creators would appreciate it. The other thing that I did want to show you, and I did so just a second ago, was the startup time. The startup time is instantaneous. Sometimes there's that shot that you can't get if you just take too long to get it because you're trying to get your gear going. This, boom, boom, I had both the receiver and the transmitter ready to go. So I appreciate the fact that they've worked on that, and this is now a practically instant startup time. What you're hearing right now is obviously the device without a lavalier. I'm going to show that lock-in part here in just a second, but I wanted to hear what the experience is like just with the devices that come in the box. This lavalier would be something you would grab separately, and those can be wildly variant in their quality. So I wanted you to hear just what comes out of this box. Then I'm going to throw that in. You can hear what difference there is, if any. I'm going to show that lock-in just on this second device so you can still hear me while I do it. You can see that this has a locking collar on it. It basically locks down like that and screws in, which is going to go into that spot right here. So that's going to lock in. That collar comes down, screws in place, and as I mentioned, there's no getting that out. I can't accidentally snag this on my jacket, pull it out, or partially pull it out, which is so much worse, and lose my entire interview. So I so appreciate this. Thank you so much for adding this. It's such a minor thing, but when you're talking about making sure you get that one shot to interview somebody, it's important. So I'm going to do some recording and not really know the results until I go listen to it. Right now, the air conditioning is running. So we're going to hear how good the noise cancellation works on this. Now we're obviously going with the lavalier, but the air conditioner was running earlier as well. So that makes a pretty nasty whistling sound.
The whistles got woo!
And I'm very happy to have noise cancellation on pretty much everything I own. So we'll hear how good it is on the Wireless Go Gen 3. The other piece is obviously I'm using this lavalier, and you can tell me side by side if you can hear any difference between those two. I will try and A and B that again so you can hear what it sounds like with and what it sounds like without. I'll have an A and B test right now. League of Legends has the most toxic fandom in the entire video gaming space. League of Legends has the most toxic fandom in the entire gaming space. I ran off and listened to that audio, and frankly, I don't really hear a difference. I'm trying to use a high quality lavalier to make sure that I don't unduly influence when I do reviews like this, and I don't think that that's really adding or changing anything. So what you hear is what you get. Obviously, if you go outside and use a thing like a windscreen, you're going to have a slightly different experience, but not that much. So in terms of audio quality, I think it's pretty solid. With and without the additional lavalier, you're pretty much set. Either way, the pickups on this are fantastic, and the audio quality coming through it equally is fantastic. Now the big question. Can you tell the difference between the previous generation and the current generation? Let me ask you a question first. When you tune into a video on YouTube or somewhere else, and it has just okay visuals, but good audio, you're probably staying there, right? What about if the audio is bad? At least for me, I'm tuning out almost immediately.
Bye, Felicia.
If I can't hear it, I'm gone. So when I think about the slight difference between the two of these, is it worth upgrading? Yeah, I think it is. And I think the reason is the float. You might remember that the float is the difference between the audio capture and the volume control. And there's a little bit of slack to allow you to have a safety net, if you will, if you happen to go too high peaking, or you happen to flatten it out where you've maxed out the entirety of your volume signal.
It's science.
That's where I think makes the biggest difference between these two microphones. That float makes sure that I always have at least a little bit of play and I never completely smash out my signal. The other day while I was doing a review for a 3D printer, I accidentally smacked the glass and it peaked my audio completely, which would be, thankfully the glass didn't break and I didn't also lose my audio track. It hit the top and then I had a little bit of play. Thankfully I was using these and not a previous generation or a different microphone. So the type of audio equipment that you use might matter quite a difference depending on the type of audio that you're capturing, especially if you're talking about music. Music, again, you're talking about live performance. There are no do-overs. So the chance to get that single bit of audio, you get one shot at it. Or maybe it's an interview. You get to interview somebody that you don't normally get access to. I had the opportunity to interview Pele once. That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You get one shot at it, your audio equipment better work. So having a little bit of extra safety, that's worth the extra upgrade for me. The other thing I appreciate is that these devices can capture natively, so I don't necessarily need another device beyond this. I can simply plug this into my phone, tuck it in my pocket, hit record. I can throw this on somebody very quickly and start having a conversation that I've captured. And having the additional storage that handles not only the audio track, but that safety track without needing to worry about running out of space is important to me. I want to take a second and read something from the CEO and founder of Rode, because I feel like that makes a world of difference in all of this. So indulge me for just a second. The Rode Guarantee. I take my obligations to our customers, the environment, and the future generations seriously. To that end, and to give comfort to current and future Rode customers, we've implemented a 5-year warranty on all wireless products. This means if you own a Rode wireless product, it now has a 5-year warranty regardless of when you bought it. At the end of that 5-year period, Rode will offer you a seamless and cost-effective pathway to upgrade. I also give you my personal guarantee that all future Rode wireless product designs will have user-replaceable batteries where possible, or be supported by our 5-year warranty and sustainable battery replacement program. If you have a Rode wireless product that requires responsible disposal, please contact our customer support team. Peter Friedman, AM founder. Please take a second in the comments and tell me another company that offers anything like that, anything close to it. I guarantee you that portion of my comment section will be empty. As with all of our reviews, the last 2 stops is always warranty and price. We just covered warranty, so let's talk about price. The cost on these is $299. Now, you can find other manufacturers putting out capture devices like this for probably half the price, but they also usually have half the support, half the warranty, and, well, half the features. So is $299 a little bit stiff? Yeah, it's probably the most expensive out there. But I've caught these for $229 on sale. So keep an eye out. Best Buy just ran a sale literally as I looked it up just a moment ago for $229. So you might find these pretty cheap. The charging box that I use for my previous generation actually works on these, and I picked that up for like $50. I personally like a hard case to be able to throw these into. So I consider that a cost on top of the cost, but it's certainly optional. That little stick thing that they included will work. It's just a personal preference for me. I like having things in a nice hard case. Yeah, it does take up more space in my bag, but it also means that my investment stays okay. So in conclusion, are these worth the upgrade? Yeah, I would say that they are. The number of features that will save you an opportunity that you might not get again, things like that little screw-in microphone jack. It seems like such a small thing, but yeah, that's a huge thing. Me personally, I've gone to lengths of literally taping the thing to this to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere else. The fast boot up time, awesome. The float, even better. The 5-year warranty, impossible to beat. So are you going from a Rode wireless go-to to this? I know I would. I'm Ron Burke, editor-in-chief for Gamingtrend.com. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you again very soon.